Welcome to Bourbon and Badges, the podcast. Rodinator here, Season 7, Episode 13, with the usual crew of hoodlums, Dobie Dog, Slow Ride, and the Hound Dog. How we doing, fellas?
Hey, I like the way you said that. The podcast. Not a podcast, but the podcast.
The podcast. Like it's not just a podcast. It's not a random podcast. It's the podcast.
The Ohio State.
The Ohio State. Yeah.
You know, and we have fallen a little bit. Once we were in the top 10 listened podcast for our niche. We have kind of fallen to the top 30.
Old retired drunk cops.
The key for our niche.
Our niche. Yeah, well, police stories, bourbon. We were in the top 10. Now, since Dope Dog come on for some reason, now we're top 30.
What all the hell?
Downhill.
I would say that hurt my feelings, but I don't know if I have any.
I'm going to say, you ain't feeling.
It's like we walked in the assembly when that old Robbie Russell says, I come back from physical, so my heart went good. Heart rate was good. He says, you got one? I'm good. I'm glad you got one.
Yeah. Excuse me, fellas. I mean to yawn in the mic. We just started the show, but man.
Really, man. Come on, drink up.
We already that bored, Rod?
Not bored, man. Just a bit of, dude. I've been
busy.
I've been crushing it every day for the last few weeks.
Well, it is dark outside, so it's past your bedtime.
Yeah, it's getting dark right now, but still, 8 o'clock. I like it better like this, dude. I think they should keep this daylight savings the way the hell it is right now.
We know they're looking at it in Congress. They're actually looking at that very thing.
I like it later at night, and I don't care about the morning.
You know, they asked Trump about that. He said, well, these people over here like it like this. These people over here like it like this. And these people like it like this. And these people like it like
Exactly.
Hey, have y'all seen the guy that impersonates Trump, wears a wig, and it sounds just like him?
Oh, yeah.
There's so many of them.
Oh, this guy was great. He was
he good?
Alec Baldwin outside his house, and he was talking to him about
I saw the guy. He met Alec Baldwin in front of his apartment.
Yeah.
And Alec Baldwin threatened to break his neck.
Yeah,
I saw that.
He sounds just like Trump.
No,
hey, that's a sore subject. You know, you murder one person. You know what I mean?
Kill one person, you're a damn killer.
Yeah, you can kill one person.
You're labeled for life.
God. He's got to get him the teardrop.
Yeah, can he catch a break? He does need a teardrop tattoo on his face.
He's got a body.
Well, guys, good to see everybody. We're going to start again with we're going to touch on what we're going to drink in a minute, but a couple things. If you guys, audience, wants to stay tuned, we got a little update on the Buffalo Trace Distillery. Apparently flooded. Hound Dog's got some information on that, which is a very sad. That's going to be somber. There's no joking.
Yeah.
Right.
That's some serious people getting shot and killed, and the country invaded and shit. And okay, we can laugh about that shit, but not Buffalo Trace Distillery being flooded.
Okay. Well, you got to admit now, bourbon makes sad times good, ugly women pretty, and what else?
Nice.
And tolerating you guys, man.
And slow dog.
Slow dog. What's that?
And for a lot of people, it makes life tolerable.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that. We also got at the Supreme Court, a New York City carry conceal case where the Supreme Court declined to hear the case, meaning the lower court's rule will stand. And I'll let you know the two elements of that case. Not that anybody goes to New York anymore because it sucks.
They go to Chicago.
But, might as well be Chicago. We got a New Jersey mom of the year, drowned her 2 kids in a bathtub. Kind of sounds a little bit like Susan Smith-esque, except it was in a bathtub. She got off with insanity. We'll talk about that. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah,
maybe she needed a dog collar.
She'll go to the puzzle factory for fucking 20 years, and that'll be the end of that.
Maybe she needed the shot collar.
Yeah.
On herself.
Yeah.
We got a knife-wielding guy who stabbed 4 little girls in New York and was shot dead, I believe, by the police. So that's a good. I
hope he died slowly.
Yeah.
So do I. I hope he died. I forget though. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but I did. And then we also have I think the feel-good story of the night, guys, and that was a apartment resident takes a gun away from an alleged intruder and shoots him dead with it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
That is a feel-good story.
Couple more we got going here. Convicted killer mistakenly freed in from Georgia jail. That's a pretty big mistake when you let a killer loose.
Have they found him yet?
It's not like you're letting somebody who jaywalked. Okay, this guy should be a murderer, should be flagged in the system. I don't know how you let somebody walk like that when you have murder on their on their jail card. I've seen it. I used to work in the jail. It's unfathomable to me. Got some stories about ICE nabbing 425 migrants, criminals in Virginia. Governor Yokin up there, he's a real good dude. He's really helping out. And Dobie Dog's going to talk about a canine, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A fellow officer, a furry officer, has been killed in Wadesboro. So we will we'll touch on that. But first,
Well, I'll tell you,
what
though,
are we drinking?
talk about
Go ahead,
murder.
sir.
We should
Yeah.
be charged with murder because we killing this show.
We
Speaking
shit.
of murder,
Talk about meat cleaver. We're
Yeah.
destroying this shit.
speaking of murder, Jackass Chicago or whatever. What is that website?
Yep. That's exactly right.
As of April, as of today, for the month of April, they have had one murder.
Really?
What?
One murder.
You know
In
why?
9
Because
days?
they started listening to our show.
Now they
believe
have
it.
had.
There's a joke there.
10 days.
No, that's seriously. They've had one murder. Yeah,
In 10 days, one murder?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
28 shot, 29 shot, one homicide, one kill.
Oh, so they tried to murder more. It just didn't.
Yeah,
Dang.
they
Just
just
didn't,
not-
it didn't take.
Those
It didn't
bastards
take.
not
Yeah.
cooperating, are they?
The effort was there, so we got to give them that.
They're still being themselves. They're
Hey, you
listen.
know, we always said this, and we always need to teach the gangbangers how to shoot better because they shoot at each other, always miss.
They
Yeah.
always do.
It hit some
they
innocent
said that-
person.
Every 5 minutes and 48 seconds, a person is shot in Chicago.
That's
Every
sounds about
every
right.
6 minutes.
And guys, that's been for the last 10, 15 years. Like since I started watching Jackass. It just never.
You know what they need to do? They
They
should
don't do anything
outlaw
to change
guns
it.
in Chicago, and that will
God,
the
why
problem
don't they
go
outlaw
away.
They need more
guns.
gun laws in Chicago.
They need to bring
That'd-
Beetlejuice
that'd-
back.
That's got to
that'd
do
quit
it.
that shit.
Yeah.
They need
Well,
to
you know,
bring
and,
Beetlejuice
and
back.
for
That is
for our
stupid.
non-law enforcement listeners, we've always said as cops, we don't need more laws. We just need to enforce the laws we have.
Right.
Yeah.
and not let them go.
Right. Obviously.
All right, let's get drunk, guys. What you drinking?
There
Let's
are
get
a lot
to
of
drinking.
there are a lot
Let's
of
get
ones.
to drinking.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
get
get
to
to
drinking.
drinking. I'm just going to go with a little bullet myself, fellas. Red label.
Hey, speaking of murder,
There we go.
yeah, man, you like the
Yeah.
raw stuff. You taking
Well,
taking
actually,
over.
too. Actually, I have it at the house, so and I don't drink as much as you guys, amazingly enough.
What are you
but
trying to say?
it's
Give it
still
time,
here.
brother. Give it time.
I give it
Yeah.
time. I'm gonna. Yeah. What else we got? Who else next?
I'm drinking the 1042
Oh, nice. Okay.
police.
What does 1042 mean there, Hound Dog?
Well, in our language, it means end of duty,
And to watch. Yep. And to do.
end of watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Surprisingly, we're gonna let you go last.
Could means
No, don't knob creek us. Don't fucking do it.
Something new. But we're gonna let Dobie Dog go last because he's gonna sample his and knows and
Okay.
taste it for us. I tried something new here, guys, and we'll see what we think about it.
I enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's
told him
about
he's gonna
gone,
knob
so
creek us.
it shouldn't be next week. It shouldn't be here.
I got a question. When you go for your physical and check your blood, does it come out Knobs Creek?
It's
Come out
maple
with
syrup.
Smoky maple.
It's fucking. It's maple syrup. They got to
Your
draw it out with
cholesterol
a
high because of it.
with a 25 gauge needle, like one of these big harpoons. 'Cause it won't come out.
Well, that little thing they stick
Like-
on, they stick in the side of a tree to get the syrup out of.
Exactly. The damn thing looks like a harpoon. Okay. And you, Dobie Dog, we got to take some time on yours. It's one of our old favorites. One of our past
Old Crow.
friends used to love. Old Crow.
Oh, crow.
And we already know that everybody who used to listen to the show, Buck's, that's one of Buck's favorites, right up his alley. Price point, good, but Dobie,
That's the
tell us about
bargain basement bourbon.
This is it's kind of
it. That's polite.
you can smell the oak and kind of a leathery smell. That's
On
what
the
I would
nose?
call it
Okay.
when you know it. It's smooth. It's kind of not much bite to it. At the end, it's 80 proof. I'd say it's kind of a vanilla type flavor with some oak char on it and a little bit of leather. But I say, as far as taste, vanilla to me is the one that stands out the most.
Do we know what the mash bill is on that, Dope? Oh, no,
got
if
my-
you don't have it handy.
I've got my
It's got notes.
I got notes.
Wait a minute, are you acting as a producer tonight?
you
Easy,
gotta snap 'em,
easy,
gotta-
easy.
There you go.
There you go.
I was looking at it. It's a corn rye barley, of course. I didn't see the actual numbers, but it's actually a Jim Beam product. I did not realize that.
You said
It's
no
just-
bite, so it's probably a low rye then, right?
Yeah, It's a Jim Beam product, which is I didn't realize it, but it's
Dude,
just
you got a
aged.
stack of papers there, bro.
It's going to be a long show.
I've been busy today. I've been busy.
It's like a
today.
phone book on old.
Must be renting at your house.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Look at that. Good gosh, that's like 20 pages.
Hold on a minute. For those of us who these younger people who maybe listen to us, right? Tell them what a phone book is.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
Tell them what a phone book is.
It's full of phone numbers of people. That's what the hell it is.
It says toasted nuts, touch of dark fruit, gently warming.
It said toasted nuts.
Stand too close to the fireplace, buddy.
Yeah,
Need
to
the
back
actual
off.
mash
take
bill
a
on
step
it.
back, son.
I don't see actual bill on it, but it's made out of Jim Beam. It says ageless. It's
I don't worry
ageless.
about it. I didn't mean to send it into it.
But I will say this. I'll be honest with you. The only
That
reason.
tornado of paper you got there.
Hey, I got some more.
You know he done it in crayon.
Let me tell all my secrets. See, you ain't gonna be that way for.
What's the price point on Old Crow, Dope?
This bottle is $25,
What was that?
Is that a half gallon or
half gallon.
half gallon?
Half gallon.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's 80 proof.
So a fifth will be at what? 12, 15 bucks?
Yep.
yeah about that. Mm-hmm.
See if it
Oh,
says
it's
anything
straight
on
up
the
Buck
back.
introduces to that.
But it says it's made by Jim Beam. Gives the calories and carbs, but doesn't give, no fat in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one
I'll
of
be
them.
honest with you. The reason I bought this was because I heard y'all talk about it and with Buck, and I bought it, and I was very pleased. I mean,
You
it
know,
is
actually,
solid.
speaking of Buck, we had that on January the 24th, 2021. And it was the name of the show back then. If you go back then, it's probably season 1, probably, Hound Dog.
Oh,
The
yeah.
difference between
Easy.
straight bourbon and straight whiskey. And we rated a 5.3, so it was not a daily drinker for us.
Oh, well, wait, hang on a second now. Dobie Dog's got something to say
Oh, yeah,
about
you can
that.
add to it.
Well, is it, what do you rate it, Dope? Is it a 7 or higher, or what we got?
I'd
You
say
know,
it's a 7. I mean, I'd drink it.
okay, so that's a daily drinker, because
I
1
would
being
drink it. It's
dog
not-
shit, 10 being
No,
great,
it's- no,
7
don't
being
be wrong.
dog
It's
drink.
not-
7 daily drinkers.
just-
Well, the
it's
three
not,
of us brought it down. Hound Dog gave it a 6. Buck gave it a 6. I gave it a 4. And I can't remember why I gave it 4 because I like it a
Oh,
lot
you're
better
a
than that.
downer? What the
Yeah,
hell's the
really,
matter
I'm,
with you?
I'm sorry. I'm not as
5.4.
bougie as Slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
funny
but-
stories of the
okay.
road might
Then
be the
again,
name of the
Slow is
podcast.
the smoke maple guy. You know? So-
I guess it
And
didn't have no smoke or maple to it, so he
yeah,
didn't
there's no
like it.
smoke or
And-
maple. So they,
on December the 4th, 2020, Rod Netter, we had Bullet Bourbon.
who? Bullet?
Yep, it was not a drinker either. Buck gave it a 9 because he likes the rye stuff.
It was
Right.
it was higher shelf for
I gave it a 5. Hound Dog gave it a 4. So it's overall of a 6.
Ah.
And if you guys, other than Hound Dog's not going to realize this. This is back probably season 1 or season 2. It was introduction of Houndtooth. Remember him? Hound
Oh
Dog?
yeah, yeah. I remember
He
that
was
guy.
regular on the show, boys. You got to go back. That's archived stuff back to season 1.
That's back in the day.
Yeah, what people, if you don't know, we used to keep a journal of each podcast, who was on the podcast, what we drank, and how we rated it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's when you guys all sat at the same table together.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
actual studio. We all sat there and we could rate the same thing, and we kept a journal of everything. Then it's hard to do now because we all drink different stuff. But
And
You
we're
know, I
all
think
over
we
the
could
map.
probably submit that for the National Archives up in Washington D.C. Maybe they'll put that in there.
I
And
think we should.
I think we
They
should.
could put it right up against where they have our little section.
You know what they'll
Yeah.
do is
Imagine
they'll take a
podcast.
proper door open with it or something.
They'll put you know
Scratch,
how you get
scratch paper.
Yeah.
Prop the door open with it.
you know how you go to some restaurants
Doodle
they'll have
paper.
like a newspaper and plexiglass in front of the urinal.
Yeah.
You read the newspaper while you're
Yeah.
pissing.
Yeah, if they do, I hope they don't yellow paper.
Put it in front of
Hey.
the urinal.
Yeah.
Before we get going on our topics of the day, I just want to give a shout out because I got a yet another free bottle of booze the other day.
See, y'all boys are on me. He's the one getting these free
I got-
bottles.
Well, I didn't ask. I didn't.
They're
This is a
different
gift.
bottles.
This
They're
is a
not all the
gift.
same.
This is a gift for me. It's Yellowstone. If you can see on the label there, it says
that.
Renegade Pigs Motorcycle Club Chicago.
Oh, wow.
They donated the bottle to us. Y'all come on down, we'll drink it. If not, I'll drink it myself. So
Yeah, man,
whatever.
we need to get
So
one
I
of them guys
appreciate
on
it,
the
guys.
show
But we
and
better
talk
be there
about
before
that.
tomorrow.
And we're going to have a I'll have this on a future episode where I can actually drink it and taste it, because I don't think we've had this hand-picked collection from Yellowstone on the show before.
Hey, can you get one of those guys from that chapter to be on the podcast that particular night, maybe?
Yeah, probably so. Let's see what we can do.
I've
But
seen
I
that
appreciate
in the
it.
store. I haven't bought it.
Yep. So that was a cool little surprise that
Sweet.
they brought back for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh,
cool.
from the
deal.
Nationals, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, let's see. Let's jump in. We good? Let's jump in.
Yeah, man. Let's jump
Hey, what's
right
going
in.
on at Buffalo Trace? Now, this is a very somber moment. I want a little details on what happened. Is it just storm? It flooded it? A lot of
You know,
rain?
the
What we got?
storm that came through, I think Dubby was got a pretty good chunk of that same storm. It flooded the what's the name of that river? And of course, I didn't pick up the name of the river. It runs directly behind Buffalo Trace property, behind
Okay.
the main buildings. I cannot think of the name of the river, and I do apologize for that.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But if you can see this,
Wow.
that is all flooding at the Buffalo Trace property.
Wow.
And, when I see stuff like that, I wonder how will that affect the consumer like us?
It's hard to get anyway.
Yeah, which is, kind of on the difficult side to get anyhow.
It's basically supply and demand. So the supply
Yeah.
gets lower, demand goes higher.
Yeah, it said from April 5th through 7th, Buffalo Trace closed its visitor center gift shop because I seen pictures on the inside of the gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
It had water probably, a foot up on the wall.
Oh, wow.
And I've been in that gift shop several times. And I think you have too, Rod, hadn't you?
Yeah. When I did my bourbon run. Yep.
Yeah. And man, that is
Kentucky
a big,
river.
big. Okay, that's
Oh, okay.
a big building.
Makes sense.
And when you have all that water, you're going to end up having mold. You're going to end up having to
There's a big
replace
cleanup.
all drywall. I mean, and
Big cleanup. Yep.
very, very time consuming and costly.
Yeah, not only mold, but the river itself is filthy, right?
Right.
Do we all know that? The shit that gets dumped in the rivers and just the runoff,
Yeah.
gas, oil, chemicals, all that shit. It's
Not
just-
to mention how many barrels they lost.
Well, yeah, the
Animal
thing about it
feces,
is,
all that
some
shit.
of their rick houses go up 7 stories, so a lot of the barrels didn't touch, but the production
probably.
lines, the bottling lines, all that stuff's going to be affected.
Right.
right.
And they call it the ripple effect on the supply and demand. And it says when production slows down, it affects more than just bottles on the shelves. The farmers who grow the grain, the folks who handle the shipping, packaging, everything from the working the distillery, the actual where they produce it, make it, all the way down. And Buffalo Trace, it's not just Buffalo Trace that everybody knows. It has an effect on Bourbon Brothers. It has the effect on Sazerac. Has the effect on, of course, all the Pappies, Eagle Rare and Weller and all that stuff. So it's going to.
Slow
I
down.
did
though.
not know.
Well, I'm going to have
I
to
did not
go
know.
pony up some bottles.
Just the good stuff, not that toothache in a bottle.
Dessert drink.
But it's it's going to take a long ass time for them to get that thing cleared up and open back up to the for
Yeah,
the
but
public and
and
go back
the thing
in.
about that too, Hound Dog, is the time it takes for the waters to reside.
Well, I tell you,
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't realize outside the bourbon community is all these other distilleries, Jim Beam, all these other guys, Heaven Hills, all of them's going to come in and help Buffalo Trace.
will.
They all
Yeah.
help each other. It's like a big giant, even though they compete for the product.
They're all a family.
They're all like family. They'll step in and they'll produce each other. They'll bottle each other's stuff. They'll step in and help
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace get out of this mess.
That's cool.
Nice. Nice.
And that Buffalo Trace is not the only distillery that flood affected.
Yeah, because it's
There's-
Kentucky.
there's-
They're all there.
Yeah, they were all all within that same region.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Kentucky produces 95, I think, percent
I think you're right.
of the bourbon made in it's only made in the United States because nobody else can make bourbon but us.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of damn bourbon.
A lot.
Oh yeah.
Because I know they were calling for like 2.5 maybe inches here, and some places were getting 3 to 4. And the thing about it was, what the average person doesn't know. The only reason I know is because when these things happen, the weather things. I pay attention to the weather. I sit there and watch it, and I'll sit there for hours and watch it, and just to see if there's going to be
even on clear days.
no,
All right.
no, not on clear days. When there's
Stare to the sky.
Yeah.
why did I not see that coming? So what a lot of people don't know is this storm that come through here and comes up through Kentucky. It was only moving like 35 miles an hour, which that's very slow. So the slower it moves, the longer it stays in one spot and continues to rain.
Dumps
So it
rain.
just dumps more rain
More
and rain.
downfall
When
you
you
get.
get to a river, they're calling it flash floods around here too. So when you get to a river, and that's where there are a lot of these, my understanding, and you may know more, right, because you've been on the bourbon tour, but a lot of these places are on or next to a river, right? Or close
Yeah,
to it.
A lot of them are, yeah.
So that's where they get their water, if I understand it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they kind of how they started out, because that was their water supply.
Yeah.
It also says on here that as of April the 8th, which is 2 days ago, Kentucky River had crested, but the floodwaters were still too high to fully access the damage. Buffalo Trace is planning to remain closed through at least today, which is April 10th.
Yeah, the time we're
And
taping this.
Yeah, time of taping. With updates expected on the situation as it evolves, and the distillery is encouraging fans to follow along on social media, especially Instagram, at Buffalo Trace Distillery for the latest reopening and recovery. While there no word on how long this will last, the fixes will take to commence. The community relief efforts past and crisis spirits world have often sparked grassroots response to support and impacted teams. That's like what you were talking about, all the other distilleries coming together and helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tight knit group. Yep, very tight knit
Yep.
group.
And if you like to donate to the cause, send it to Slow Ride. Take care of Shootout Mountain.
There you go.
And I'll
Knobs
see that
Creek
all the
is
proceeds
fine.
get drank.
Knobs Creek is fine.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I
That's all I
appreciate that
have on
update, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for the update.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Yep.
At least we know it's not going to be devastating if they're already starting to get back into stuff today, the 10th, you know. That's good to know. You know,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
be off the shelf too long.
And I bet they will come out the bottle that if they survive the flood bottle or something, they're
Some
going
kind
to
of commemorative something.
yeah, they'll come
Yeah.
out with something for it.
Always turn a negative into a
Yeah,
positive.
Heaven Hill did that when they had that
Yeah.
big fire and they lost all
The
the
big
riffing.
fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sure.
That makes
Cool,
sense.
cool.
Yep.
All right. My old stomping grounds,
A little late on that
New
one, I'm sorry.
York is New York, of course, gun controls crazy up there, just like Chicago, right? Well, there was a challenge to the concealed carry restrictions up in New York, and it has made its way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has declined to hear the case, which means the lower courts' rulings will stand. And long story short, just
Now, is this the
People in New
constitutional
York-
carry you're talking about, or
this is restrictions New York
for,
New York's
for the
its
state
own
of New
place.
York?
Right. New York's its own place. It just put these restrictions on, and they were challenged in court. And Supreme Court went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says we're not going to hear the case, which means the lower court, appeals court ruling will stand. And their appeals court ruling basically says two things. One, that you cannot have weapons. There are restrictions on weapons in sensitive places. Basically creating gun-free zones, which we all hate, right? And some of these facilities would be like healthcare facilities, churches, which I carry too, parks I carry, entertainment venues I carry, and other places where people gather. Why? Because people kill people where people gather.
Yeah, bad people kill good
Whatever.
people.
Yeah, whatever.
How
Anyway-
many church shootings have you heard of?
Exactly. Well, it remains in effect. That rule remains in effect now because it was being challenged. The Supreme Court won't hear it. The appeals court said it's fine. And the other one is, and this is the one that, if you think about it, guys, this is very subjective. You must be in, quote, good moral character to obtain a concealed carry license. So who determines who's got good moral character? Because I think I do, and other people would say, you're a low-down son of a bitch. You know, like, I mean, so... Like,
There's different
Who
types of moral
determines
character.
Hey, Rod Nader, does three of us get a vote?
yeah, I already know your votes.
I'll vote for you, Rod.
But you know, I'll just ignore them and carry anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't fucking matter.
Here's the
That's all you
thing.
got to do.
Yeah.
Moral character could be different types of things.
Right.
The thing about it
What
is, if you're concealed carry, normally no one knows unless you need the weapon. If you need the weapon, then who
Sure.
cares?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm just saying this is technically, if they catch you with it in these places, you've broken the law. And this is in New York, of course, which, whatever. But good moral character. I thought that was funny because they could basically say no to everybody because your morals aren't there.
And don't
And what kind of argument do you have? Like, oh, yes they are. No, they're not. Yes they are.
and don't ask your ex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd comment on that because it's New York, it's where I'm from. I'm glad I'm gone. New York again, proving to be a very, very liberal, nonsensical, retarded place to live, and that's why I left. Yeah. How do you really feel, Rod? The place sucks. Okay. So anyway, moving on. Not a good story, guys. I'm about to get into the Jersey mom who drowned her 2 children. Who wants to touch this one? Anybody read it through real good?
I apologize, but I have not.
All right, and
I'll do
please, for the sake of the show, next time you talk about children, don't talk about touching one.
Don't touch it. Oh, I see what you did there. That was funny. Yeah. Rod, there goes your moral character.
Yeah.
Turning your guns.
Turn you down, dude. I'm sorry. You don't touch kids.
Well, this New Jersey mom, apparently the highlight of it is, or the low light, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there she is. She's a beaut. Killed her 2 children by drowning them in a tub. 27-year-old Naomi Elkins killed both her children. Only one of them was 1 and 3 years old on the 25th. Drowning them in bathtub. She believed she was eradicating all evil in the world by killing her 2 children. So that's where the craziness started, I guess. Psychologists, they had her evaluated and so forth. And a lot of times it doesn't work out when people try to act like they're crazy, temporary insanity and stuff. But this one, it did. According to reports, Elkins stabbed one of her children in the stomach and then put her in the bathtub, holding her underwater for a few minutes. The other child ran. Can you imagine? The other child ran and hid. Having to run and hide from your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were the kids, Rod?
1 and 3.
Mm.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
3-year-old. I guess we
1 and 3.
ran the hide.
Yeah. Run. And the other child had to run and hide from Elkins. Climbed on top. The mom found her, climbed on top of her, and held her down while the bathtub filled up, according to the judge. First responders described the suspect as emotionless. Well, she had to be. She's an evil fucking,
Yep.
Um, So, long story short, based on a review of the facts and circumstances in combination with expert psychiatric reports, I love that, right? That's a judgment call, right? A psychiatrist talks to her, tells her to put together a puzzle, or hey, what's this shape?
Yeah.
And decides, okay, they
One
just say, okay,
person's
she's
opinion.
crazy. Yep. And on that testimony, the state agrees. The state agreed with the findings of the psychiatrist, and they said it's not even a close call. She is certifiably nuts. Now, in their defense, I don't know. I've never met this crazy person, but I just want all these types of people to go to prison. That's where I want them to go.
Yeah, with that being said, Rod Nader,
That's the nice way, Rod.
let's say she is crazy. She's insane. How do y'all 3 feel about that being a defense for what she done?
That's what I mean. I don't.
Yeah, just don't send her to some crazy house. Let's put her in prison. Put her away. Crazy people don't need to be on the street.
Well, and I can just to kind of
Turn her off.
kind of
I say
segue.
turn her
on that,
off.
we were
Yeah, I agree.
dealing with kind of going along with that. We were dealing with when I was in street crimes. We used to have to sit at the courthouse on Halloween, specifically for all the registered sex offenders to come. They were on probation, so they had to come up there. Which is a really good thing because they weren't on the street.
Oh yeah.
And they weren't open their door, giving candy to kids.
Right. So we have a kid. This young guy. He was in his 20s. He leaves. He gets through sitting in on all this sheriff talking and everything.
He leaves from where?
The courthouse. They're at the courthouse. Sheriff talks. Different people talk just to kind of pass the time. Kind of the little rehab kind of thing. But they're all at the courthouse. He starts to leave, come out of the courthouse to go to the parking lot here in Gastonia. And that was our regular gig, and it was a good thing because you kept them off the street. They weren't out there when the kids were out there. Mm-hmm. So this guy walks by us, and I'm just going to be blunt. This guy walks by us, and one of my guys says, "Sarge, what's this guy doing?" Exactly what you think he's doing. He walks out the parking lot, and as he walks out of the parking lot from the meeting, just walked out of the courthouse. And y'all know right there where it comes from the courthouse to the jail, that little upper level. He's sitting there masturbating right in front of us. So they go to stop him, and he runs. Finally catch him. I had to scuffle with him a little bit. Get him in the jail. They put him in a restraint chair because he's still fighting. And he starts crying like a kid. And after you sit there and talk to him, you realize this guy had the mental capacity of like a 5-year-old. But he was 23. And even though what he did was extremely bad, if he would have went to prison, he was just going to get abused. He was truly one of those people that would have fallen between the cracks because he didn't need to be in a prison cell. Even though what he did was really bad, he was like a 5-year-old. And then he got out. Then later they found him in the McDonald's in the ball crawl with the kids, and then he got locked up again. So he just keep getting locked up, and he was literally like a child.
All right, so is he there as a predator, or is he there as a mentally 5-year-old kid playing with the kids?
My point exactly, because I really don't think this guy should have gone to prison with a bunch of dope.
What did he do? What was his charge?
He was originally on there for some kind of sex offense. I don't remember what it was. But
this lady murdered 2 kids in a bathtub.
Yeah,
a little bit.
This is different.
I mean, I get it. Both are bad, but man, I don't
They're
know.
both bad. But the mental capacity is the. Cause I think there are people whose mental capacity is such a
exception.
Prison's not going to do anything for them.
There are,
but they don't need to be in the public either.
Yeah, I'm not totally crazy. Like this lady here, killed both her children, and she's found her guilty. She's going to be in a psychiatric hospital for 2 lifetimes. Which, okay. Yeah. So in other words, just put her in for life. You don't have to say 2 lifetimes. Just put her in for life. She never gets out.
So where's the dad, the father, and all this?
Didn't mention a thing about her father. Yeah, didn't mention a thing about her father. And I'll tell you, by the way she looks, I'd like to meet him and go, damn, dude, you must have been drunk as shit. Because that son of a bitch right there.
I wasn't sure that was a woman.
I wasn't
when I first
either.
saw it.
And that's
Jack
scary.
Daniels don't make enough.
Could you imagine the kids? Because I'm scared just looking at that damn thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
there's not enough old
She's got the same look as Bill Murray on Caddyshack.
Yeah. 9th hole.
It's a Baby Ruth in the pool.
Yeah. And for all the young people, that's a golf movie with a lot of funny people in it.
Yeah, right.
You need to watch Caddyshack if you haven't.
Exactly.
Classic.
We're going to keep saying it. Caddyshack, it's a good, it's a funny movie. Have a few
go
bourbons while you're watching it.
The Baby Ruth in the pool.
Yeah. All that good stuff. All right. Moving on, fellas. One more from my New York City, if that's okay with you guys.
No, sure.
Yeah, fill us up.
Meat cleaver I like the good stuff. Meat cleaver wielding man shot after stabbing 4 young girls in New York City. So just life goes on in New York, Chicago. Meat cleavers.
You never hear these type things where a meat cleaver man chops up bodybuilder.
No, that usually doesn't work out too well. Anyway, police shot a meat cleaving wielding man in New York City after he allegedly stabbed 4 young girls inside a residence on Sunday morning. This is another case. I read through the article. This is another case where this man was in the house with the children, like he's family, and terrorized them. Tried to kill all 4 kids. Basically chased them around the house. One of the children, the 11-year-old, is the one who called 911. Can you imagine this? She hid in a room. You could see her calling the police under the bed, whatever. And another boy, one of the other kids, got free of the house and ran and got a neighbor. But officers ordered the suspect. He's 49-year-old Long Chen, C-H-E-N. So I'm thinking he's Asian.
Long Chen, C-H-I-N.
C-H-E-N.
Sounds like me.
It's pronounced like Chin, but Chen, like that Chen. To drop his weapon repeatedly, but he refused and lunged at officers. Not good, Chen. So officer shot Chen, who is now in critical condition, according to the report. So the investigators said his exact relationship to the victims is under investigation, although they believe him to be a relative. Well,
so was he FAFO?
So far, I don't know if he's still around or not. This was a couple of days ago. The girls he stabbed and or assaulted with the meat cleaver, 16, 13, 11, and 8. And there was a little boy in there too, but he got away to the neighbor's house.
Were they all the same family? Is that what they're saying? Or
Yeah, it's under investigation, but they believe they're all of the same. He was a relative, so it must be a clan of Oriental people in there or something. Because last name Chen, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
They all had serious slash and stab wounds. Now,
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt, Rod, but this is one point that I want to make.
don't go liberal on me because I'm starting to get
Got a
worried
little
about
liberal on the
you.
insanity
You start getting liberal with me, dude.
I'm gonna throw my damn phone through the computer if you do.
I'm gonna throw it right at your head.
No, absolutely.
I don't want to hear some people who are saying, "I get that." Okay, I'm
No.
done with that shit. I don't want to hear that no more.
No, absolutely not. So, how did he kill him?
How did he kill who?
The kids. How did the guy kill the kids?
No, he stabbed him with meat. He chopped him up with a meat cleaver.
What did he not use?
A gun.
A gun.
My
We
point
didn't know
is
it's
that-
going to be a test, Dobie dog.
Well, at least they passed it.
I could. Yeah,
Good
I didn't
thing
have
I was
time to
paying
study,
attention for
bro.
about 2
That
seconds.
was a lucky guess. No, yeah,
mean,
I
it's-
understand what you're saying.
It wasn't a fucking gun.
Yep.
But he still killed how many people?
Yeah, he was able to. Yeah,
And what stopped it?
like we
A
said.
gun.
Oh, gun.
You're right. A good guy with a gun.
You're exactly
Exactly.
right.
My point exactly.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. I just had to get that in.
No, that's okay. At this time, all 4 children, thank God, are expected to survive, but this could have been very different. EMS arrived at the door within minutes, so they were able to treat, fast, decisive action, and the officers were able to use their electronic hole punches to punch some holes in this fool. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So again, New York, crazy. Gun laws intact. I guess meat cleavers are next.
I'll tell
Was
you.
that an assault? Was that an assault meat cleaver, you guys think? Or was that just a regular meat cleaver?
It would depend on
It
what
was a
color it was. If
Concealed snub
it was
nose
black,
nuclear.
then yes, it is
Oh,
assault
yeah.
meat.
Yeah, black handles.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, talking about those poor kids, man, they'll be physically and mentally scarred the rest of their
Yes,
life.
they will.
Forever.
Oh, absolutely. How do
Especially if
you
it's
recover?
a
from it?
relative.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't recover.
Well, I use bourbon.
He won't be over for
But
right
you use
over
bourbon
Christmas.
regardless.
Anyway, so that's
Sad
that's
stories,
New York.
man.
I'm done with the New York shit. All right, Dog, you want to touch on something here, Big Daddy? A little good. It's not a good story, but you could talk a little bit about the K9.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. This thing's really kind of. Let me back up to my notes, but it's kind of convoluted. I mean, I've read into it, dug into it, and it's kind of an odd story. Wadesboro, they have evidently some kind of jump and run.
Is that here in North
The dog-
Carolina?
Wadesboro, North Carolina. Yeah, so that's how I saw it. It was on channel local Charlotte stations. So they go to track this guy, and at some point they come out carrying there are multiple gunshots. They come out carrying the dog, and after reading the whole thing,
The police dog.
the police dog, yes, K9 Blitz. So after reading the whole thing, it sounds to me this dog was originally in a police canine school for Virginia State Police and was kicked out of the school because he was too aggressive. My understanding, showing aggression towards handlers and things of that.
You mean
Things of that
canines
nature.
have internal affairs as well?
Possibility. So
Yeah, a little
it's-
chihuahuas at the head of the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, exactly.
Big old glasses.
A DEI hire.
Yeah.
Sitting there back going,
Yelling at a German Shepherd. Rrr, rrr.
I will say something post podcast about that. Go ahead. So anyway, it sounds to me like the dog was rejected and kicked out of a canine school for Virginia State Police. Which my understanding from what I know through the years and people I've met, Virginia State Police is pretty squared away. And the canine program is pretty squared away. I don't know this, but I know the place that we used to buy dogs had sold some to Virginia State Police at some point. So it sounds to me like the dog was kicked out of that school, went to another owner, and then Wadesboro Police Department picked him up. When they picked him up, they were using him for a dope dog and wasn't completely trained and certified in apprehension
Probably because of
And-
aggression.
because of his aggression. And at some point, this dog gets out and after this pursuit and evidently latches on to the bad guy. And it sounds to me like they could not get him off. And it sounds, because they're kind of being real hush-hush about it, but it sounds like the police shot the dog. Because the suspect was in the jail and he was talking to another friend about the situation and his phone call got cut off. So is what
Huh.
they're saying. So it sounds like To me, it sounds like, and I'm not trying to judge, but it sounds like a smaller department who can't afford stuff got this dog because they couldn't afford to spend the money, and they didn't put the proper training in, and this dog went astray. Not the dog's fault, and then the police shot and killed the dog.
So the dog, so the bottom line, dog grabbed a hold of the suspect. They couldn't free him. So instead of suspect getting seriously hurt or killed, they shot and killed the dog.
Right. And it sounds to me like they put the dog in a situation where he
Well, of course, it's
shouldn't.
definitely not the dog's fault. It's never the animal's fault, right?
Right.
It's always
And
our
so
fault.
it's kind of a weird thing, and evidently there's going to be more about it because of the amount of publicity it's got on the local news in Charlotte. And Wadesboro's not that far from Charlotte. Wadesboro's 2 hours from Charlotte, maybe? Rockingham?
No, the Waysboro is about an hour and a half from Charlotte.
Yeah. And
It's kind of an odd story, and the more I read about it, the more just stuff doesn't quite gee-haw.
a side story of that is, W, I don't know if you remember or not, but you remember in North Carolina, Highway Patrol was going to do it with their canines, and they're
Correct.
they're
Yes,
going
I
to find
remember.
homes at other police departments for these canines, and we had the opportunity. I put in for one. They're going to give us one, and then our department, Gastonia PD, turned it down because they didn't want to have to upfit everything for a sixth canine. We could have got
Right.
the canine for free, and just let the general public know we pay about $8,000, $8,500 for a green dog, which is not really trained.
Now it's up around 11.
Really? So that that was a freebie, a really tuned up good dog, but they didn't want to upfit it for the canine handler, the car, and that sort of thing to get that.
Dang.
Anyway,
Well, that's a sad story, but
well, we had 5
Yeah,
dogs, so it was good. So
yeah, I'm talking about the dog that was
I know,
shot.
I'm just
and
saying
killed. That's sad. Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, then again, it just shows, the dog's got to be just as you got to vet the dog just like you would an officer, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Bad officers get in sometimes, and sometimes maybe a bad dog gets through. Not a
and that
bad
shows
dog, but
restraints on the
Untrainable
canine
dog.
handler and stuff as well, because Dobie Dog can tell you, how much you love your dog and how you feel about that dog, but you want to de-escalate that use of force to the point is you had to take the dog out.
Yeah. Apparently, I
And
don't
the
know what's
comments
going on.
about the guy in jail, he was making comments to his buddy about he had been mauled. Now, we all know that you got the scumbag in jail. Tell who's doing that scumbag, of course. How much of that is embellished and bullshit? But at the same token, and they talk to different owners. They talk to the Virginia State Police, and some things just don't quite add up. I think it was a small department who couldn't afford something, got a hand-me-down dog that didn't need to be on the road, and they put it on the road. And
Well, it sounds like they
That's-
use it for the right thing. If they use it for drug apprehension and not personal apprehension.
correct.
Or drug detection.
And that's been a possibility.
Yeah, and then
And
they
I
put the
don't know,
dog in the
maybe
wrong
the handler-
put the dog in the wrong place.
Correct.
Man, hope it don't come back to, no pun intended, I hope it doesn't come back to bite the handler in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
But
that
that's- a lot of
dog's
people
use of
don't realize
force just
when
like
you-
your gun or your baton or anything else too.
Right. A lot of people don't realize, and I don't mean to get sidetracked, but other police want to see that the dog finds somebody to bite him. But what we tell our young handlers is the fact that you are responsible for everything that dog does, not
Yeah.
your buddy over here think, oh, that's cool, we caught the bad guy, and he fucked him up. Well, were you justified in that, or you're not justified? If you're justified, by all means, let him eat. But if you're not, you can't. So your buddy may be aiding you on when he's not accountable for everything that dog does. And of course, like Slow knows, if I'm working my dog and my dog bites somebody and I screwed up, I'm accountable. Slow's accountable
Oh yeah.
because he supervised me.
And let
Well, it's
me
like
tell
your
you
gun.
what a job that
you're
was.
Responsible. You're responsible for your gun, just like you're responsible for your
Exactly.
baton,
Everywhere
your
that bullet
OC,
goes, you're
your
responsible
taser,
for it.
the dog. Yeah.
The dog's the tool.
Yep.
So
Just
yeah.
like everything else on your belt and your car.
Hey,
Everything.
but I tell you, and Dobie Dog, of course, we kept on this dog stuff with both and canine together. But that canine, the dog, is the only use of force that police officer has that once he deployed, he can call back.
Call it back.
Yeah.
It's the
Can't
only
call a bullet
tool.
back.
The only tool that the police officer has that can't be used against him. Your bag can take your
Right.
gun, your baton, your pepper spray used against, but they can't take that dog
You
away.
can take him a dog because if you try to take him, he's going to eat your ass.
Oh yeah.
And I've had mine where I actually sent him and called him back, and back guy gave up. I said recall, which means call him and he comes back to me. instead of going to pursue the bad guy, and it's happened. And
Yeah,
it's-
and we told us
okay.
before on Jeff Clark, he was the Renegade Pig. He was Carl on Renegade Pigs, but God rest his soul. We're on a call one time, the bad guys in the house, I think it's a church. And he like, we're going to release the dog, y'all come out. And he started barking like a dog, and the guy gave up. And it was Jeff Clark
It
barking the
wasn't
whole
even a
time.
dog, it wasn't even a dog on scene.
No.
And you know what? I had that happen to me one time. I had that happen to me one time. I went and was going to send my dog, and the guy ran into the brush right there off 321. And before I get there, street crime guys start doing the same thing. And I'm getting out of my car, and the guy comes walking out because he thinks the dog's going to come in there. And he says, I'm not getting bit. The second time, I said, what do you mean? My dog didn't bite you. Mm-hmm. No, I was running across on the other side of 321 where the hotel's kind of right near the Motel 6 and Pancake House right there at 321. And Gastonia, and he ran from a trooper. He jumped the fence and ran in the back lot of like a mechanic shop. And the dog in there bit his ass and he climbed out. So he thought he was going to get bit a second time.
Oh, yeah. Good for that. Good for that dog.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I digress. But anyway.
Well, it's a sad story, but
Yeah, man. Y'all are full of sad stories tonight, man. Good grief.
Hey,
I
we
need a
got
reason
feel-good
to drink.
story, though.
Do what?
we do got a feel good story towards the end. We got a feel good
Yeah.
story. Oh, a couple more downers. So moving on, guys. Georgia killer mistakenly freed from Georgia jail. DA says. So this guy is a convicted killer. He's on the run, mistakenly freed from a Georgia jail 2 weeks ago. There's a picture of him up on the screen. That's him. Catherine Guzman, Cathon Guzman, was arrested August 2022 for felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, and necrophilia.
Yeah.
bad.
Necrophilia.
That's some pretty jacked up shit.
That's some nasty shit.
Yeah.
In the strangling death of his then girlfriend, Delilah Grayson, she was not okay. Necrophilia means having sex with a dead person, folks.
With
in
a
case
corpse.
you don't know it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's
Yeah.
pretty.
Guzman was convicted in 2024 felony murder, aggravated assault charges, and sentenced to life in prison. And however, on March 27th of this past month, a paperwork error. How many times have we heard that, guys?
Yeah.
How does this happen? A paperwork error allowed Guzman to walk out of the county jail, a free man. This is my problem with it. When you see a guy come in on murder and he's in the papers, he's on the news, convicted of murder, and you see his face, don't you know when he walks through the jail to the place where they're doing release, like what the hell is he doing here? He's been convicted of
Yeah.
murder.
Now, if he's
going
convicted,
to
what's he
prison.
doing in a county jail?
He hasn't been transferred yet. Hasn't been transferred
Oh,
yet.
so it's
And
okay.
I just
Huh.
want
Has got
to
his-
redeem myself.
Yeah.
I just want to redeem myself at Rod.
What's that?
He needs to go to prison.
There you go. You think?
Hey,
Yeah,
what
but
do
you're
you
probably
think I was a
glad he's
liberal?
out
What,
there.
what
Doug.
did it for you, Doe? Was it the necrophilia? I mean, what did it for you this time,
Well,
Big Daddy?
One sheriff's department didn't think he needed to. They let his
Exactly.
ass go.
Yeah. Apparently, these people in Clayton County didn't think he needed to go.
Clayton County. I'm trying to think of where that is. I've heard of the county.
Anyway, so they let the paperwork error, and Guzman walked out. So this guy, who's been convicted of all those crimes I just mentioned earlier, including necrophilia, dude.
Well, he
that's-
must thought it was Christmas.
That's pretty messed
That's
up.
an indication of some kind of mind. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then, of
Perverted.
course, the sheriff. I'm not happy. The mistake was made. We're going to look into it. Hopefully, it'll never happen again. My staff works hard to keep justice.
I
Blah
bet
blah
you
blah blah
do.
blah. But as of this podcast, he has
They
not
haven't been
been.
found.
He's not been found yet.
And what does he have to lose now? If he's in life, if he's gone to prison
That's
for murder,
exactly
he
right.
has
He's
nothing
done.
to lose.
He has nothing to lose. So killing somebody's free. Killing a cop
Oh,
is
yeah.
free. Banging another corpse is free. Sorry, had to throw that.
Yeah, maybe they need to check all the funeral homes.
Well, that's what he did.
Check the graveyards. Yeah, he
Yeah.
could be digging up a hole, digging up somebody now. I always liked that girl.
Yeah, instead of looking her up, I'm gonna dig her up.
Again, if you see this cat,
Yeah.
make sure you call
Exactly
the police
right.
wherever you are.
Yep. If he's around a graveyard, call extra quick because it can get messy
yeah.
quick.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it, guys. For this guy here, he's running around somewhere in Georgia, and clerical errors happen.
I hope he's
paperwork
still
errors
in
happen.
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
if
a-
I was
he's a
him,
shootout
I'd be beating feet out of there. Yeah, I'd be
He
going
shoots
for it.
Shootout Mountain.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I tell you,
a couple more here.
Yeah, a little
Go
sidebar
ahead.
right quick for me to tell a police story. Captain Sergeant Adams was sergeant, the team we were working on, and he was scared to death of graveyards. So when we worked third shift, if you wanted just to hide or get away from him, you go in the graveyard. He's not coming in there.
What's the matter with him in graveyards?
He's just scared to death of them, and he would not go in at night.
Really?
Oh yeah, but I'm not hiding from Adam. Just another side story is I'm riding around, just cut through the cemetery down off of South New Hope Road there in Gastonia, and it's summertime. My windows are down, and I hear her singing. It's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's real loud, off key singing. So I get out and I start walking around. I find it, and what's that? What's the building that you
Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. Yeah, I think I told us on the podcast before. I go in there and there's a soldier in there, and he's got a half bottle of Jack Daniels.
Right. Yeah, you told this story.
Yeah, and he's singing, he's crying, and he's drunk off his ass. I just inquired, man, what's going on? He said, "This is he's been deployed, and his buddy died when he was gone, and I said, all right, man. He said, you okay? You good? He said, yep. I said, all right, carry on. I'll see you. Let them be.
Mm-hmm. Were you working slow when they had that lady trying to dig up her baby?
Oh, yeah, man. Yes.
That was some...
Sergeant McMurray and I were riding together, two-man car that night.
Hound dog? Were you working that night?
I don't know. I worked the west side of town.
So,
the cemetery's on the west side of town.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Is that my cemetery right up the road there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a 1-year-old baby died, and
she's trying to dig it up with like garden tools and stuff.
Oh, she got down to the tomb, to the concrete tomb. She's digging
the vault.
Yeah, the vault. Yeah. She's wanting to hold her baby one more time.
That like the postpartum depression, whatever.
Oh yeah,
there was a time to do that, but that's not the time.
They got to call a suspicious vehicle or something like that slow.
Yeah, again, it was late 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
They get up and she stands up with like, oh, shit.
What do you do with her? You guys arrest her for grave robbing type charges and some shit? Or what'd you do?
Yeah, I can't remember how that turned out.
I was working, but I didn't go out there.
Well,
wanting to arrest
Sergeant McMurray and I, we ride there. We're in two-man. We're riding together at night. We ride down there. We thought, crap, we don't deal with this. Call a patrolman.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Delegate. Yeah. That's a great way to be a sergeant. You got to be able to delegate.
That's right. When I was in street crimes and they get somebody they wanted to strip search. Nope, boys, that's yours.
Delegate.
All yours.
That's exactly right.
If they're really nasty, you start calling a rookie by. Hey, get JoJo's rookie by here. He needs his dude.
So kind of off this, I know what route we'll eventually go, but we were doing a search warrant and they go to search a guy. Or this guy, and I don't know if y'all know Chris Waldrop or not, but he's a captain there now. And he starts calling for a female to search this guy. And Adam Wilson says, Chris, it's a dude. No, it's not. It's a guy. It's a girl. No, she's got breasts. No, it's a dude. He's got an Adam's apple. And it was a trans trying to get a sex change, this dope house. And so Chris had to search.
Wait a minute. He's trying to get a sex change at the dope house?
No, he had already been in the process, taking hormones and all this stuff. And so Chris thought it was a girl. And it was a dude.
Well, man, I don't get all scientific on, but you know how they make a hormone, don't you? Don't pay her.
No, don't. So they ended up taking this guy to jail because he had warrants from like way down East North Carolina. And the guy at the jail hands him to the new guy. He's yours.
Damn.
Yeah, transgender.
That's back before it's cool to be transgender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a true pioneer of transgenders.
Yeah. Trendsetter.
Yeah. Maybe we should put a statue up right next to George Floyd.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just put George Floyd in a dress, and we'll get them both covered.
And put some lipstick on. Yeah, there you go.
Was this guy on his way to a pool tournament by chance?
No, he was a high jumper.
Yeah. Or a track star. These days you never know. Yeah. All right. Yep. All right, well, feel-good story. All right, feel-good story.
I like the feel-good stories.
In Houston, 3 or 4 people, several people, broke into an apartment. And apparently there were 2 residents in the apartment. One of the residents confronted said people. One of the 18-year-old suspects pulled the gun out. The resident was able to knock the gun out of the 18-year-old's hand. Then he pulled another gun out, and there was a wrestling match ensued. He got the gun away and shot and killed the 18-year-old kid in the apartment. The other suspects fled the scene.
Shot the intruder. The victim shot the intruder.
The victim shot the intruder.
Hence the feel-good story.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, happy ending.
And And you know what? And but he was only 18. I can hear people right now. Don't
Yeah.
give a shit. Give a shit.
Yeah.
He not only did he break in, he brought 2 guns to break into a house. What does that mean to folks? It's not a burglary tool, a gun, is it? No. You know, no. Hey, F around, find out. You know.
They did.
Yeah. Stand
Yeah,
your ground
they did.
law.
Yep. And you see that's the distinct difference. Whenever I would go, tell me if you guys agree. When someone's burglarizing a house, they have burglary tools, and they go in, they steal shit, and they leave. When someone breaks into a house with a gun, that's a different mindset.
Yes.
You're right, and I'm here to tell you, a burglar will go into great detail not to encounter a person.
Right, and to
Right.
make sure if people are home, to make sure he doesn't wake them up. If they're not home, make sure they're not home. He doesn't want to encounter somebody.
They don't want resistance.
Somebody who breaks in with a gun is a whole different story. It's like a home invasion. People might be saying, well, that's a home invasion. Well, if they kick the front door in and they announce and they have a gun, that's a home invasion. But this was kind of like, it started out as a burglary because they broke in at night through a window, but this kid had 2 guns on him. For what? And so you got to question what his motives were, because he did pull the gun, and what would have happened if the owner wasn't able to knock the first gun out and go wrestle the second
And like you said,
one.
they say, "Oh, it's poor thing. He's 18 years old." But that's a decision he made, conscious decision he made.
He knows enough to
He
know.
woke
right
up,
and
got
wrong.
dressed, came to the house, planned it with his friends, and they broke through a window and they went in
Here's the
somebody's
thing,
house with weapons.
At 15, 16, 17, 18, and even younger, you know the difference in right and wrong.
Sure.
You know you don't take.
You know that really. I think now the law recognizes that you start knowing that around 11 or 12, right?
Exactly.
11, 12, 13. So at 18, 18 you can drive. 18 you graduate high school. 18 you can get. I mean, just go to the military.
how I
He
feel about
probably,
it.
he probably didn't graduate from high school.
Yeah. So anyway,
I know one thing: he's not going to college.
But you know, one of his family talk about him. He's got his 13-year-old football picture.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll put the middle school picture up.
You know that's just something that just crawls my ass, is how much emphasis we put on how phenomenal sports are. And it overrides everything else of ours character and everything else.
Yeah.
Professional athletes, it ain't worth a shit moral character, but because they're playing sports, we pay them millions and billions and millions of dollars. Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent, but go ahead.
All right, I got to politically rabbit hole shit slow. We only got a few minutes left.
I got all
Ready?
night, man. Go ahead.
All right. So, guys, I don't know how this
Got
makes
a whole
sense. You
bottle.
know, we
Yeah,
always
we-
talk
we-
about transgender
we got plenty of
this,
booze and all
transgender
night.
that. When a guy plays against a woman, we say it's unfair, blah, blah, blah. What happens when the women's pool championship is being fought out by 2 transgender guys?
Not one,
Not 1, 2.
2.
So 2 guys with dicks are playing pool.
What they're doing? What? You better clarify that.
What?
You better clarify what they're doing.
What?
But they're
For the
using
women's
pool
championship.
cues, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they
right.
brought
Confused
they
me
had
there for a
built-in
minute.
pool cues, built-in pool cues, but 2 transgender guys are vying for the women's championship. How does that make any sense? Like,
No,
it shouldn't be the men's championship? Isn't that the men's
Well,
championship?
or a
and they look at them. They look exactly the same.
or a
We're holding
code,
up a picture,
code.
folks.
It could be a code. What do you call it? With the sport, whether they're men or women can compete.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Co-ed.
co-ed. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But which
Well,
one
this is
was-
this is in the United Kingdom, so it's across the ocean. But yeah, 2 guys who think they're women are playing for the women's championship. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
they
know.
they beat out real
2
women.
real women, right?
Yeah.
But I guess since they're playing each other, I don't have a problem with it because it's 2 dudes.
Yeah, but what about the one that lost?
Like,
what if they complained that the other guy beat him because he was
Yeah.
a guy?
Yeah, I'm a real
Very
woman.
possible.
He's really a guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have his kibbles and bits anymore.
Like
I
you
don't
say,
know.
you got to admit they had an unfair advantage their whole life. They had a cue stick and balls to play with.
They do. Yeah, exactly
True.
right. And they chalked it up a few times too, so they used them. All right. Anyway, and then, sorry, this is some slapstick in the sewer comedy, but we
But
have
it's
a good
good.
time. Yeah, but it's good. Okay, my last one. One more minute. I got it. Oregon trans high jumper who came in last against the boys wins first place in the girls. So the dude was high jumping with other
The
guys
dudes. Yep.
decides, nope, I'm going to be a girl this year, and comes in first place in the
Well, I'm
girls'
sure he felt like a
competition
girl
and
after
wins
winning,
it.
finishing in last place.
He got his ass whooped.
Unbelievable. Can you believe that shit?
Now, is that in
So-
the United States?
Oregon, wasn't it? Oregon.
Oregon. That's right. You said that. All right. Yeah.
So they're pretty liberal.
Oh, they're
Oh, the
crazy.
whole West
They're
Coast
crazy.
is.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we're not
And the
really
lo-
listening to a lot out there.
And the last thing I'm going to tell
Not
you guys,
anymore.
the last thing newsworthy, really that's really crazy is Colorado's Democratic Congress, the state of Colorado, the Democratic Congress, just rammed 4 bills through on Sunday. Sunday's a weird time for them to have Congress, right? Mm-hmm. They had no debate, no nothing. And one of the bills, if you quote dead name or misgender your child. Like if your child says, "Daddy, I'm a girl today," and you go, "No, you're not. You're a boy." You're denying them their gender identity. It's now child abuse, and you could be charged, taken to court, and your kid's taken away from you.
Child abuse.
Yes. Or if you dead name them. So if Hound Dog wants to be called Hound Doggy Dog, and I say, "No, you're a fucking Hound Dog," I just dead named him. I could
Who
be
come up with
charged
that
with
bullshit?
child abuse, and he could be taken away if he was my kid and he was under the age. So now
That's stupid.
oh my God, the Democrats slammed it through. There was no debate. There was no kind of back and forth. They
I
just
mean,
they
even the
have-
Democrats should have better friggin' sense.
They don't. They don't.
This is my question.
don't.
Who sits around and just out of the blue comes up with this bullshit?
Look it
What-
up.
I mean, is that all you have to do? You don't have
Colorado
anything
guys,
better to
stay
do?
clear. Stay clear. Don't live in Colorado. It's going to hell in a handbasket. Seriously, guys, think about
It's like
that.
it's
You get
already
charged with
gone.
child abuse. Child abuse.
That is so
That's
stupid. That
incredible.
is so stupid.
That's incredible. Imagine if the kid goes to school and say, "I told my dad I was a girl, but he says I'm a boy," and the teacher calls the cops,
Oh yeah.
and they do a
And,
report.
and I don't know if y'all know this or not, because I've just been around a few here and there, but teachers are fucking liberal.
No, really?
Yeah, they're some dumb.
Holy
they're some-
shit.
Not all teachers, just some
They're just some
teachers.
stupid asses.
The teacher unions are always Democrat. They always
And like-
always support Democrats.
Because the poor little kids.
Well, that's why they're pissed that the federal system is getting axed by Trump. You know what am I talking about?
Department of Education.
Department of Education is getting axed
Would
by
you remember
Trump.
that one
Says
lady,
they're sending
she
it
stood
all
up-
back to the states.
She was a teacher that she said if they come to get immigration, come to get her kids, she was going to lock the door and let them in.
Oh yeah.
You a
Yeah,
dumbass.
we have a tool for that.
See how that works out for you. Yeah, we can. We
Yeah,
can
but
search
think about
warrant?
this: putting the education back into the hands of the state could be bad. Like we're talking about, like just talking about
It
now.
should- no. It'll be terrible in California because they don't know what they're doing. But it'll be great for states that are run by Republicans.
Yeah.
That would be great.
But
in
here's the
California
thing,
state-
too. In your state, Hendo, North Carolina is so kind of because you got good House, but governor, you got a dumbass.
Well, we got it. The Congress in North Carolina is 1 seat away from a supermajority for Republicans.
Really?
So we got it made here. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
We had a
I know
supermajority, but we lost it by 1 seat. So now we just need one Democrat to side with us, and we
That's
can
good.
veto any governor bill. That's the one thing. But it's so weird because the entire Congress is Republican, but we keep voting in a Democratic governor. Like it doesn't make any
Yeah, I
sense.
agree.
It's like retarded. But
And you know, now here we're fortunate. Everything is unless you go into like the state capitol, it's a Republican. I mean, it's red. It's red. It's open carry. It's everybody has a fucking gun. I mean, it's just and I was gonna like the further you go deep south, the more that becomes true.
All right, guys.
That's
Speaking
all.
of Republicans, it's that time of night. Any shout outs? Any of that boys? Any other good feeling stories? Any that you want to add?
I love my President Trump. I'm so glad these tariffs he's doing, all this stuff he's doing right now is incredible.
He's definitely a businessman.
it's
He's
gonna
not.
make-
He's not a politician. He's a businessman.
It's going to make the everything so much better in this country with time. It's just a little growing pains. Everything's going to be good, guys. Just remember that.
We had so much shit to fix.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
And
and,
the- and-
that's what everybody's
and I
fussing about
saw
now.
one thing,
He
too.
can't fix it. In what 78, 79 days now?
And here's another thing, and I agree with Rod. Shout out to Trump and Elon and all the guys he's got
Oh,
working.
yeah.
He's got people in place that are going to do the right thing because
got
they're thinking about our country.
Got the
But
smartest
I
people in
read-
the world around him. I mean, it's just
Exactly.
incredible.
And I read something the other day, or it might have been on the news. You know, there's been 2 car companies in one like Mexico and one like Canada that shut down, and then people are complaining about it. What the media is not telling you is they're I think it's Dodge is opening up a new plant in Illinois and employing
building in-
1,500 people.
Yeah, they're building in the United States now.
So
2 of them.
I concur with Rod. I mean,
He's got over 4 to 6 trillion in investments coming into the country.
and if
It's
you
gonna
want
be
to gripe
incredible.
about it, he's doing exactly what he told you he would fucking do.
He
Yeah,
campaigned on
what
it.
everybody voted on him to do.
He campaigned
Yeah.
on it. Yep. So I'm all for it. MAGA bros. That's what I'm
Yep.
for. Yep.
Once again, Chicago Blues Brothers, Renegade Pigs, thank you for the bottle. I'll be
Nice.
featuring this on a future episode.
Yeah, let's
I
go to them
promise.
guys on the show. That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
And one more
gentlemen.
thing. Kaiser Rebel, Jerry Millwood.
Tune in to his podcast, or not his podcast, his TikTok stuff and
Yeah, and
YouTube.
Facebook, he's on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I enjoyed it, man. It has been a Studio 77 production.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Got places to be, baby.
That's gonna sound good.
It is.
I have no idea.
Remember,
Really, I
let's
don't.
drink
We
about
don't. We do not drink and drive. We are
and drink responsibly.
And yeah, we always home when we drink.
That's
we
all,
are.
folks.
We are out.
I'm blaming that on